Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.
The news arrived not with a scream, but with a quiet, earth-shattering click of the phone. For Laura Wright, the vibrant, energetic actress who had brought the beloved character of Carly Corinthos to life on ABC's General Hospital for over 16 years, the world contracted in that moment to the sterile, polite voice on the other end of the line and the clinical terms it spoke. It was a diagnosis. Cancer. A word that, until then, had belonged to other people's stories, to fundraising marathons and sympathetic headlines. Now, it was hers. This personal cataclysm, a private struggle begun in the silent, fearful spaces between doctors' appointments and biopsies, would soon become the catalyst for a profound professional and public departure, forcing her to leave the iconic role in the studio that had been her second home since 2005. Her exit in October was not merely a casting change, it was the public-facing chapter of a deeply private battle, a testament to the brutal intersection of life's fragility with the relentless, unforgiving timetable of a daytime drama. The character of Carly Corinthos, as portrayed by Wright, was a force of nature. She was not merely a character on a soap opera, she was an institution within the institution of Port Charles. Brash, fiercely loyal, manipulative, vulnerable, and endlessly resilient, Carly was the engine of countless storylines, the nexus of the show's most powerful families, the Quartermaines, the Spencers, the Corinthos clan. Wright had stepped into the role after the departure of Sarah Joy Brown and Tamara Braun, making it uniquely her own. She won 2 Daytime Emmy Awards for the part, a testament to her ability to imbue a often morally ambiguous character with a shocking depth of humanity and heart. For the audience, Carly was a constant. They watched her navigate marriages and divorces, betrayals and triumphs, the joys of motherhood and the agonies of loss. They grew up with her, aged with her. Wright was the steady hand guiding this tempest, her performance a daily appointment for millions of viewers. Behind the glittering facade of television drama, the schedule of a daytime soap actor is a grueling marathon. General Hospital produces a staggering volume of content, often filming an entire 40-minute episode in a single day. For a central character like Carly, this meant Wright's life was a whirlwind of memorizing dense, emotional dialogue overnight, early morning call times, long hours under hot lights, and a constant, pressure cooker environment where there was no room for error, for an off day, for a moment of quiet exhaustion. It was a pace sustained by youth, health, and immense professional discipline. It was a machine that never stopped, and its actors were the essential cogs that kept it running smoothly. To falter was to disrupt an intricate, fast-moving ecosystem of writers, directors, crew, and fellow actors. There was an unspoken contract: you showed up, you delivered, no matter what. Your personal life, your aches and pains, your bad days, were checked at the soundstage door. It was into this world of relentless demand that Laura Wright's diagnosis landed like a silent bomb. The specifics of her cancer type were, rightly, kept private, a boundary she maintained with a grace that itself spoke volumes about her character. The public did not need to know the pathology, they needed to understand the consequence. The initial period was likely a blur of shock, a surreal haze where the most mundane details of life are viewed through the new, terrifying lens of a life-threatening illness. There would have been the frantic consultations with specialists, the weighing of treatment options, the desperate search for information in a language that suddenly felt alien and frightening. The emotional toll is immeasurable, the fear for oneself, the profound anxiety for one's family, the heartbreaking conversations that must be had with children and loved ones. And layered on top of this profound personal crisis was an immense professional dilemma. How does one tell the producers of one of television's most demanding shows that you have cancer? How does one explain that the body that has reliably shown up for 16 years, that has conjured tears and rage and joy on command, is now under attack from within? The requirement for treatment, whether surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, or a combination, is absolute and non-negotiable. It carries its own brutal schedule, one entirely incompatible with the grind of General Hospital. Chemotherapy does not care about a filming deadline. Recovery from surgery cannot be rushed to make a call time. The side effects, fatigue, nausea, brain fog, weakened immunity, are the antithesis of what is required to perform at an Emmy-winning level. This was the impossible choice that never was a choice at all. Laura Wright's health, her life, had to come first. The decision to leave General Hospital was undoubtedly heartbreaking. It meant walking away from a character she had helped define, from a cast and crew that were a second family, from a steady and fulfilling job that was a core part of her identity. It was a surrender to a circumstance she did not choose, a forced resignation from a life she loved. Yet, within that heartbreak was a powerful act of self-preservation and courage. It was a declaration that her worth was not tied to her productivity, her identity not solely bound to Carly Corinthos. In an industry that often prizes stamina over well-being, her decision was a radical act of prioritizing her health. The logistics of her departure would have been complex and handled with a mixture of compassion and cold, hard practicality. Conversations with executive producer Frank Valentini and the show's writers would have been fraught with emotion. There was a story to be told, both on-screen and off. How would Carly be written out? The character was too pivotal to simply vanish. A storyline would need to be crafted that explained her absence in a way that felt organic to the show's universe, while also buying the production time to recast the role, an inevitability in the world of soaps, where characters outlive the actors who play them. The writers faced the challenge of creating a plausible exit for a character who was the center of gravity for so many others, all while respecting the very real and painful reason behind the need for that exit. For Wright, the process of filming her final scenes must have been an emotionally Herculean task. Every line of dialogue, every embrace with a longtime scene partner like Maurice Benard, Sonny Corinthos, or Kelly Monaco, Sam McCall, would have been laden with subtext. The professional artifice of acting would have been paper-thin, barely containing the real-life grief of goodbye. The soundstage that had been a home for nearly 2 decades would suddenly be filled with the poignant significance of the last time in Carly's penthouse, the last confrontation, the last close-up. The cast and crew, a tightly knit community, would have rallied around her, their support a tangible force, but it could not erase the underlying sadness of the circumstance. When the news broke publicly, the response was an outpouring of love and support that transcended the usual fanfare of soap opera news. This was not about an actor seeking a new opportunity, it was about a person facing a profound human crisis. The daytime community, often perceived as competitive, closed ranks in solidarity. Fellow actors from General Hospital and other soaps shared messages of support, their words echoing a shared understanding of the unique pressure cooker they all inhabited and the unimaginable challenge of navigating it while fighting for your life. Fans took to social media, not with criticism or disappointment over her departure, but with an overwhelming wave of prayers, well wishes, and shared stories of their own battles with cancer. In that moment, Laura Wright the actress became Laura Wright the person, and the audience connected with her on a fundamentally human level. Her exit from the canvas in October was therefore unlike any other. It was not a dramatic death scene, nor a villainous departure. It was, by necessity, often a quieter, more open-ended writing out, allowing the character to remain alive off-screen while the actress focused on her health. Every moment Carly was mentioned in absentia, it was a silent nod to the real-life struggle happening away from the cameras. The show had to go on, as it always does, but it now carried a ghost, a reminder of the fragility that exists just beyond the edge of the frame. The period following her departure would have been dedicated entirely to the battle ahead. Treatment for cancer is a full-time job, its schedule more demanding and its stakes infinitely higher than any television production. Days that were once filled with blocking scenes and hitting marks were now consumed by medical appointments, treatment cycles, and the arduous work of recovery. The fatigue she might have felt after a long day on set would be replaced by a deep, systemic exhaustion that rest could not easily fix. The discipline she used to memorize scripts was now directed toward managing medications, side effects, and the emotional roller coaster of hope and fear. Through it all, Wright maintained a remarkable level of grace and public composure. Her social media, while not a detailed medical journal, became a window into her resilience. She shared not the grueling details of her illness, but moments of strength, time with family, glimpses of normalcy, expressions of gratitude for the support she received. This was a conscious choice, a way of controlling the narrative around her illness without letting the illness define her entirely. It was a masterclass in navigating a public health crisis with dignity, offering just enough to reassure and connect with those who cared about her, while fiercely protecting the privacy she and her family needed to heal. The impact of her departure rippled through the show itself. Recasting a character of Carly's magnitude is a monumental task. The new actor, in this case, Jennifer Smith, steps into not just a role, but a legacy. They face the immediate and daunting challenge of making the character their own while honoring the familiar rhythms and nuances established by their predecessor, a predecessor who left not for a new role, but under circumstances that evoke universal sympathy and respect. For the writers, it meant recalibrating dynamics and rebuilding the character from the ground up, with a new performer bringing a different energy and interpretation. For the audience, it required a period of adjustment and acceptance, a process forever tinged with the bittersweet knowledge of why the change was necessary. Laura Wright's journey holds a mirror to the often invisible struggles individuals face within high-pressure workplaces. Her story is a stark reminder that behind the glamour of celebrity, behind the seemingly invincible personas of the characters they play, actors are human beings subject to the same vulnerabilities as anyone else. It highlights the silent compromises and immense strength required to maintain a public career while dealing with private pain. Her decision to step away was a powerful message that resonates far beyond Hollywood, that no job, no matter how fulfilling, is worth your life. That it is not only acceptable but necessary to prioritize your health, even if it means walking away from something you love. Her battle and her professional departure also serve to humanize the often maligned genre of soap operas. For all their melodrama and fantastical plots, at their core, these shows are about human connection, family, and resilience. The outpouring of support for Wright demonstrated that the community built around these shows, both the people who make them and the people who watch them, is real and profound. The fictional families of Port Charles are supported by a very real family of artists and technicians, and when one of their own is in crisis, the bond proves itself to be authentic and strong. In the end, Laura Wright's story is one of profound duality. It is a story of interruption, of a life and career violently derailed by illness. But more importantly, it is a story of immense courage and reclamation. By choosing to leave General Hospital, she was not ending her story, she was choosing to fight for the ability to write its next chapters on her own terms. Her exit in October was not a finale, but an intermission, a necessary pause for a battle that took precedence over everything else. The soundstage lights may have dimmed on Carly Corinthos for her, but they illuminated a far more critical path forward, one of healing, strength, and survival. The legacy she leaves behind is not just that of a memorable performance etched into television history, but that of a woman who, when faced with an unimaginable challenge, made the brave choice to put herself first. She reminded millions that it is possible to love what you do and still let it go when your life depends on it, and that true strength is not found in relentless perseverance, but in the wisdom to know when to step back and fight the battle that matters most. The hope, for her, her family, and her legions of fans, is that this intermission will be followed by a long and healthy next act, whatever form it may take. For more than 2 decades, Laura Wright has been a central figure on daytime television, captivating millions of fans through her powerhouse portrayal of Carly Spencer on ABC's long-running soap opera General Hospital. Wright's presence on the series not only defined many pivotal storylines but also cemented her as one of the most beloved actresses in daytime drama. However, shocking news has left fans reeling and the entertainment industry in disbelief. Laura Wright, who for years brought fire, resilience, and raw emotion to her character, discovered that she had been diagnosed with cancer, a revelation that not only shook her personal world but also forced her to make the incredibly difficult decision to step away from General Hospital this October. The announcement has sent ripples through both her loyal fanbase and her colleagues, raising questions about her health, the future of her role, and the challenges of battling such a devastating illness under the watchful eyes of the public. The revelation came at a time when fans least expected it. Laura had been actively engaging with viewers, participating in fan events, and filming significant storylines that had become the heart of General Hospital's fall episodes. Many were shocked when behind-the-scenes whispers turned into a confirmed reality. She had been quietly undergoing medical tests after experiencing symptoms she initially dismissed. It was only after a series of appointments that doctors confirmed the life-altering diagnosis. Facing cancer is a daunting battle for anyone, but for someone constantly in the spotlight, the journey becomes even more complex. For Wright, who is admired not only for her professional achievements but also for her personal strength, the news marked the beginning of a fight that would test every ounce of her resilience. Friends and co-stars have expressed immense support, recounting how Laura initially struggled with the news but quickly decided to face it with the same determination that has defined her career. Her decision to step away from the soap opera was not one she made lightly. She understood the impact her departure would have on the show's direction, particularly since her character Carly is deeply woven into multiple ongoing storylines. However, her health had to come first. For fans who have grown accustomed to seeing Carly at the forefront of dramatic twists, the thought of the actress no longer appearing on their screens felt surreal. Yet, many also acknowledged that Laura's well-being was far more important than fictional plots. In interviews following the announcement, Wright opened up about the emotional whirlwind she experienced after her diagnosis. She admitted to feeling overwhelmed, fearful, and uncertain about what the future would hold. The reality of leaving a job she loved, even temporarily, was heartbreaking, but she also emphasized that she needed the time and space to focus entirely on her treatment and recovery. Cancer, as she explained, does not only affect the body but also shakes one's emotional and mental foundations. Accepting that she would need to let go of her daily work routine and embrace an unfamiliar path was one of the hardest choices she had ever made. The daytime television community has always been known for its close-knit bonds, and Laura's colleagues rallied around her instantly. Co-stars shared heartfelt messages on social media, producers expressed unwavering support, and fans flooded her with prayers and encouragement. Many emphasized that Laura has always embodied strength and positivity, qualities that would undoubtedly help her during this health battle. For years, she has inspired fans with her ability to play Carly's resilience on screen, and now, in real life, she is proving that she possesses the same fighting spirit. Her journey has also sparked greater awareness of health issues among fans, with some sharing their own stories of diagnosis and recovery. This unexpected twist in Laura Wright's life also highlighted the fragility of balancing public and private struggles. While she has chosen to share her diagnosis openly, she also requested compassion and respect as she navigates the treatments ahead. The public nature of her career means that every update and every absence will be noticed, but she hopes her openness will not only keep her fans informed but also encourage others to prioritize their health and take symptoms seriously. Her departure from General Hospital in October was accompanied by an outpouring of gratitude from both the production team and viewers, all of whom wished her strength in the months ahead. The road before her is uncertain, but Laura's story has already become more than just a headline about an actress leaving a soap opera. It is a testament to the reality that illness does not discriminate, striking even the strongest individuals at the height of their careers. It is a reminder of the importance of health over work, family over fame, and the need to face life's challenges head-on. Laura Wright's courage in confronting her cancer diagnosis while also saying goodbye to a role she cherished for years reflects not only her humanity but also her extraordinary spirit. For fans who had followed Laura Wright's career, the news of her cancer diagnosis carried an especially heavy weight because of the bond she had formed with viewers over the years. Wright was not simply another soap opera star. She was someone who invited fans into her life, sharing pieces of her journey both on and off screen. From her early days on Loving and Guiding Light to her award-winning performance as Carly on General Hospital, she built a reputation as an actress who poured her soul into her work. For many, she was not just portraying Carly, she was Carly, bold, fiery, unapologetic, and fiercely loyal to the people she loved. This connection made her departure from the series even more heartbreaking, as fans felt like they were losing both a beloved character and the actress they admired so deeply. The decision to step away in October was carefully planned between Laura and the show's producers. In the world of daytime dramas, continuity is everything, and producers had to determine how to write Carly out in a way that respected both the character and the actress's circumstances. Instead of a sudden disappearance, writers worked with Laura to craft a temporary exit that left the door open for her return once she was healthy and ready. This gave fans hope, knowing that while the actress would not be appearing on their screens for the foreseeable future, Carly's story was far from over. Behind the scenes, everyone understood that this was not goodbye forever but rather a necessary pause in her remarkable career. Colleagues described the atmosphere on set during her final weeks of filming as both emotional and supportive. Cast members reportedly gathered to express their love and encouragement, many of them moved to tears as they shared personal memories with her. For actors who spend long hours together year after year, the bond often feels like family, and losing one of their own, even temporarily, leaves a palpable void. Several of Wright's co-stars expressed admiration for her bravery, noting how she continued to show professionalism and dedication despite the emotional and physical strain she was experiencing. Even in the midst of her personal battle, she remained a source of encouragement for others, reminding everyone to cherish each day and prioritize what truly matters. For fans, the news sparked an outpouring of emotional reactions across social media. Hashtags supporting Laura began trending, and countless fans shared their own stories of dealing with cancer, expressing solidarity and sending prayers. Some noted how Carly's strength on General Hospital had inspired them during their own struggles, and now, in a bittersweet twist, they were determined to send that strength back to Laura in real life. Others reflected on the impact Wright had made in daytime television, praising her ability to turn Carly into one of the most unforgettable characters in soap opera history. The support demonstrated how deeply she was loved not only as an actress but as a person whose authenticity resonated far beyond the screen. While fans held on to hope for her recovery, the news also drew attention to the broader issue of health challenges within the entertainment industry. The demanding schedules, long filming hours, and constant pressure to perform can take a toll on even the strongest individuals. Wright's openness about her diagnosis reminded audiences that celebrities are not immune to life's hardships. In many ways, her courage to share her struggle helped destigmatize conversations around illness, especially in a field where actors often feel compelled to hide personal challenges for fear of losing roles or opportunities. Her decision to be transparent set an example of vulnerability and strength, showing that it is possible to be both a public figure and a human being facing life's hardest battles. Behind the scenes, Wright's family became her anchor. Known for being devoted to her children and her partner, she leaned heavily on their love and support as she prepared for the treatments ahead. In candid moments, she admitted that her greatest fear was not the illness itself but the impact it might have on the people she loved most. Protecting her family and assuring them that she would fight with everything she had became one of her greatest motivators. In her own words, she described cancer as a storm she never saw coming, but one she was determined to weather for the sake of those who mattered most to her. The entertainment industry has seen many beloved stars face similar battles, and Laura's journey has already become part of a larger narrative about resilience in the face of adversity. Her story has encouraged viewers to prioritize health checkups, pay attention to warning signs, and advocate for themselves within the healthcare system. Fans noted that just as Carly Spencer never backed down from a fight, Laura Wright was now showing the same determination in real life. Her decision to step away from General Hospital in October was not a surrender but a strategic move to give herself the best possible chance at healing. Although uncertainty remains about how long her absence will last, one thing is undeniable: Laura Wright's legacy on daytime television is secure. Her career has spanned decades, filled with memorable performances, awards, and moments that left fans talking long after episodes aired. But perhaps her most powerful legacy will not come from scripted storylines, but from her real-life courage in facing this battle openly and inspiring others to do the same. The months ahead will be difficult, but if Laura has proven anything over the years, it is that she is a fighter who knows how to turn pain into strength. As the calendar moved closer to October, the reality of Laura Wright's departure from General Hospital began to sink in, not just for viewers, but for the soap opera industry as a whole. Daytime dramas rely heavily on familiar faces, and Wright had become one of the most recognizable. Carly Spencer wasn't just a character, she was a cornerstone of the series, driving some of the most memorable plots over the last decade. Her departure created a ripple effect that touched nearly every storyline, forcing the writers to rethink and restructure ongoing arcs. The announcement left fans speculating about what might happen to Carly, with some wondering if she would be recast temporarily, while others hoped the show would simply write her out in a way that allowed for a triumphant return when Laura was ready. The producers faced a delicate balance, honoring Laura's health journey while also keeping the show's momentum alive. Historically, soap operas have navigated similar challenges, but Wright's absence carried more weight because of her prominence. Ultimately, the decision was made not to replace her in the immediate future. Carly would be written out for now, giving Laura the time and space she needed while keeping the role uniquely hers. This move reassured fans that the door was wide open for her eventual comeback, which became a source of comfort during an otherwise disheartening moment. It was a signal that the show valued her contribution so deeply that no one else could step into her shoes, at least not while she was still fighting to reclaim her health. While fans speculated about what might happen on screen, Laura herself was focused on something much larger: her treatment and her ability to maintain her spirit throughout the ordeal. She has spoken about how difficult it was to process the initial diagnosis, describing the experience as if her world had been turned upside down overnight. The whirlwind of medical appointments, treatment options, and the emotional roller coaster that came with them left her both exhausted and determined. Like many who face similar battles, she had moments of fear and doubt, but she has also expressed gratitude for the overwhelming support surrounding her. Every message from fans, every embrace from a loved one, and every gesture of kindness from her colleagues reminded her that she was not alone in this fight. One of the most remarkable aspects of Laura's journey has been her decision to remain transparent with her fans. Many celebrities choose to keep health struggles private, and understandably so, but Wright felt a responsibility to share her truth. She understood that her platform as a public figure could be used not only to inform her supporters but also to raise awareness about the importance of listening to one's body and seeking medical advice when something feels off. Her openness has already encouraged many to schedule checkups, leading some to even discover early warning signs of illnesses themselves. This ripple effect, born from her willingness to be vulnerable, could very well save lives. Beyond awareness, Laura's battle has highlighted the importance of resilience and self-care. Fans who admired her on screen now find themselves admiring her even more off-screen, as she faces perhaps the toughest role of her life, not as Carly, but as herself. Friends who have known her for years describe her as someone with an indomitable spirit, someone who refuses to be defined by hardship. They believe this strength will carry her through the darkest moments of treatment and bring her back stronger than ever. Wright has echoed this belief, stating that while cancer may have interrupted her career, it would never take away her hope, her love for her family, or her passion for her craft. The soap opera industry, though competitive, is also known for its sense of solidarity in times of crisis. Several other daytime stars from different shows extended their love and support publicly, proving that while networks and storylines may differ, the actors behind them are part of a larger community. Messages poured in from actors across The Bold and the Beautiful, Days of Our Lives, and The Young and the Restless, all sending words of encouragement. Many shared personal anecdotes about how Wright had been a friend or mentor, reinforcing the idea that she was more than just a co-star. She was a guiding presence whose kindness had left a lasting mark. As October arrived and Laura filmed her final scenes, the weight of the moment was not lost on anyone. The atmosphere on set was bittersweet, tinged with sadness at her departure but also filled with hope that she would return after conquering her illness. When her last scenes aired, fans across the country tuned in, many describing the experience as emotional and even surreal. It wasn't just Carly leaving Port Charles temporarily, it was a beloved actress stepping away from the stage to fight for her life. The final images of Laura on screen became etched into the hearts of viewers, who promised to keep cheering for her off-screen until the day she was ready to return. Her departure in October became more than just a turning point in a soap opera's storyline. It became a moment that unified fans, colleagues, and even casual viewers in a shared hope for her recovery. Laura Wright's fight against cancer is far from over, but her bravery has already become a beacon of strength for countless people. Her absence may leave a gap in General Hospital, but her presence in the hearts of those who admire her has only grown stronger.